Yeah, I definitely did listen to sports radio. I used to listen to hockey games a lot when I lived on the East Coast in 2005 to 8. I was going to law school out there. I frequently listened to Anaheim Ducks games. That was late, dude. Those would start at 10 or 10:30 p.m. my time, and so I'd be up until like 1 in the morning listening to Ducks games. Yeah, I listened to a lot of sports radio. And that did have I think some impact at least on my commentary, but not a ton because sports commentary in general, is really bifurcated between two extremely well defined roles of play by play and color commentary. Those are really separate in radio and TV sports. And I've never viewed commentary like that. I've always viewed that as being a relic of an old era that we just don't need. I would rather have two people who can competently do both, and I want to have the pass back and forth. To me, that's more interesting, not just on commentary, but to listen to. I don't want to listen to the same dude yammering constantly. It's like I like the back and forth. I really prefer that. That said, some sportscasters did have an influence on me. My favorite sportscaster ever is Gary Thorne. I think his voice, first of all, is incredible. His voice is like just it's like exactly what a sportscaster should sound like. But on top of that, he does a great job of drawing people in and establishing what's going on. He's super strong when it comes to painting a picture, and that's what I wanted to do. I don't think it's true that fighting games move too fast to do play by play. I just think it's not useful. I think it's not useful. The thing about sports, especially think about hockey, right? Hockey is extremely fast. 100 things are happening at the same time. It's really hard to pay attention to everything for anybody. For players, that's a huge part of like who's good at hockey or not is like how many things can you pay attention to simultaneously. And part of what Wayne Gretzky, part of why he was amazing was that he had this like incredible sense of knowing everything that would happen, all the things going on at the ice he was aware of. And that's why he has more assists than anybody else has points, right? I mean, it's just an incredible awareness. So there's so many things happening simultaneously that it's hard for a viewer to pay attention to. And so I do think it's useful to boil it down. A classic complaint about hockey for people who aren't hockey fans is that they can't follow the puck. I've heard that one 1,000 times. And so much so that for a while Fox had the horrible idea of having like the little RFID in the puck so that it would have like a streak if it moved fast. Remember that? And so having a sportscaster boil it down to what's happening is helpful for viewers, even for people who can follow the sport, right? Even for dedicated viewers, it's helpful because there's just so much stuff. Fighting games are not like that. There are two characters on the screen, and they are on the screen entirely. The only exception to that is like a team-based game, and even that is, you don't have to. They're fast. They're fast. Don't get me wrong, but there's not a whole two teams playing simultaneously. So it's much easier to follow what the action is, especially in a game like Street Fighter or just in general 1v1 2D games, 3D games even. So it's not necessary, right? It's not important to have a narration because you can see it. There it is. Everything that's happening is right there. So there's no reason to have somebody narrating. I think this is about like what the reason is. Not is it fast or not. Anyway, the point is none of us want narration, right? In fighting games. It's not whether you think it's for time or whether you think it's for how many things are going on or whatever it is. Like we don't want it. What up, Ogre? Have I watched the Japanese Street Fighter League? Their commentaries seem very different. Super different. And was curious what you thought. Well, a big issue here is that I don't understand Japanese at all. So I can't really talk about it from that angle. But yeah, it's a very much more role-driven type of commentary. There's a play-by-play guy. It's Aru. They have a guy who does analysis. That's Hamiko. And then the other guy, whose name I don't remember. It's very it's very role based, and they don't get out of those roles, and that's not what I want. I want commentators who are capable of going back and forth. And the thing too is, I know that Aru can do the color because he's a good player in Street Fighter and has been for a long time. I mean, like, he's like James Chen, like a long time, like he's been around forever. And Hamiko has been a top player in the past, but he's also really good when it comes to play-by-play. So both of these guys could do that. They could. I would much rather see them have the interesting back and forth that I prefer. I suspect a big part of why it's not like that is just that it's a different culture and they have different expectations. Just in the same way that like sports culture is different than gaming culture, and we have different expectations and things work differently. And it's, that's fine. It may not be my preference, but they certainly do their roles well, right?